Now, if you didn't watch the breakdown Tuesday, Nate and I talked about it. We went to the Bills pick and we said, hey, the Bills are going to pick a wide receiver because they need one. And this is when things got rough, and Nate and I were like, well, it's never scripted, right? WWE's not scripted.
Not
Right,
scripted. I don't know what y'all talking about.
So Nate and I talked about how Stefon Diggs is unhappy in Buffalo. And there was a matter of time before Stefon Diggs would depart from Buffalo. I mean, there's not a lot of people who want to come to Buffalo simply because it is so cold up there. Nobody wants to play in that weather, even in like December stuff. Like nobody wants to play in that weather. Nobody
It's
wants to go to
cold.
Buffalo. It's cold. It's cold. Yes.
I don't like the
Stefon
cold. I don't
Diggs.
want to go to Buffalo.
No, and he didn't have a problem. He was in Minnesota. He was kind of used to some cold stuff. Me, I would go to Buffalo and I would freeze to death. I would not be like those fans with their shirts off, sliding down the snow. It's like I wouldn't be like that.
I'm
I
gonna be
couldn't do
over here bundled up.
it. Exactly. I don't have that
I don't want to be
courage.
here. I
Mm-mm.
don't want to be here.
So we had a conversation where we don't know, and it's just a matter of time before Stefon Diggs is out of Buffalo. And the other day, Stefon Diggs actually is out of Buffalo. Now, what team wants Stefon Diggs? I think a bunch of teams would want Stefon Diggs. I personally don't want him touching the Saints. He was the man who did the Minneapolis Miracle. Don't want to touch Stefon
Still got
Diggs. One of
still
the
got that
worst. Oh, it still stings. It still stings to this day. Not as bad as the no call PI. Not as bad as the no call, but it still stings. I don't want to talk about it. But Stefon Diggs has a new home. So the Texans were the people that wanted to reach out and say, hey, we want Stefon Diggs. We have this rookie quarterback who's still on this rookie deal. We have the best chance of going to the Super Bowl. So let's spend a little money. Let's spend money. We're not scared to spend money like the Jaguars and the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields and all these teams that were scared to spend money to ensure that a Super Bowl or a postseason run. And so the Texans, now you can tell me who you think won this trade side, but I'm going to give you the details.
Yep, I'm listening.
The Texans gave the Bills, so the Bills received just a single pick, and that is a 2025 second round pick. Well, the Texans got this second round pick from the Vikings. The Vikings decided, hey, we want the 23rd overall pick in the 2024 draft. We're going to give the Texans a couple picks, and one of those picks was a 2025 second round draft pick. So the Texans, with their draft capital, used that to acquire Stefon Diggs. But the Texans only giving up a second round pick for next year. The Bills gave Stefon Diggs a 2024 sixth round pick and a 2025 fifth round pick, all for just one second round pick. And let's keep in mind, Stefon Diggs led the league in receiving a few years back. He has like the most receptions out of anybody in like the past couple seasons. It's insane. And
he's a bona fide wide receiver one.
Yes. So for the Texans to not only give a second round pick for one of the best wide receivers in the league, but also receive a fifth and sixth round pick, I'm sorry, Si, but I'm going to have to give this to Houston.
I'm going to have to give it to Houston as well.
Because, and we talked about it before, me and MJ have, and it is statistically proven, as MJ likes to say, that a team to win the Super Bowl, they would have the best bets to have a good quarterback on a rookie deal, so that they can share the wealth with everything else before he wants to collect $50-60 million a year, right? So we figured out, okay, that's the trade. That's what's going on between Buffalo and Texans, and we'll talk about their free agencies when we do the tier list. I don't want to spoil what I have their grades to be.
No spoilers. You got
but today, we figured out, hey, the Texans aren't done with Stefon Diggs. We might have had that trade, but we're going to get a little bit more out of him. So the Texans decided that we're going to void the 3 years left on Stefon Diggs' contract. I don't know how they did it. I guess I don't really know how the voiding works. They buy it out. I don't know how it works. Jack, if you know, leave it in the comments. Somebody knows. And they're making him able to be a free agent in 2025. Jack just says cap is fake. Okay, Jack, thank you.
I mean, he's not completely wrong, so we'll take that.
Cap is fake. With Stefon Diggs is kind of guaranteed money with these next years of contract. They
Mhm.
voided it, but they're bringing $3.5 million from a year that he would have received in guaranteed money in a past contract, in the future contract, sorry, and giving it to him this year. So they're
Yeah,
giving him $3.5 million extra dollars on top of what he is already guaranteed. So he is getting $22.5 million in guaranteed money this season. Stefon Diggs is $22.5 million. I don't know how that ranks in wide receivers. Probably number one in guaranteed money for a season. I don't know
number one,
if
top
salary.
three confirmed.
It's definitely probably top three in money. Guaranteed money is probably number one if I had to guess. Um, so the reason the Texans do this is because this is like a Randy Moss and Tom Brady type situation. Randy Moss comes into the
Mhm.
New England Patriots. They are the first undefeated team ever. They're the first undefeated team. You know what happens? They end up going to Super Bowl, losing to Eli Manning and that defense.
Mhm.
Incredible. So this is what the Texans are trying to emulate. Now Tom Brady might have not been on a rookie contract, but they have this CJ Stroud person. They want CJ Stroud to be their next Tom Brady. So they bring in Randy Moss, aka
Yeah.
Stefon Diggs.
Yes,
Because look, the Texans just made the playoffs when they were not supposed to be even close to
they were
making the playoffs, right?
a win team, 6-win team. They
Maybe.
weren't supposed to
Yeah,
be maybe, and they won the division and won a playoff series from a first-year quarterback and a first-year head coach.
exactly. And so
Already
people didn't expect
exceeding
it.
expectations.
No, yeah, all exceeding expectations. So they're like, wow, if we can do this in year one, let's see
Imagine
what
what
we
we can
can
do in
do
year
in,
2
yeah,
or year 3.
imagine what we can do in the years coming. So let's emulate what has happened in the past. Let's sign our Randy Moss. Can we win 16 games? Probably not. I'll probably say 11 or 12. They might have
I
win
I
11.
I
I
think
give
I
them
think
11.
12. I think 11-12 is really realistic looking at that division, how the division has improved.
Yes, I'm gonna say the Texans come out with this division this next season. I'm gonna give them like 11, 12. I think 11's a
I,
good number. Their ceiling's probably like 13, and their floor is
ceiling's
probably like
13,
9.
floor is 9.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yes. Perfect.
Same already. Hey, we're thinking the same thing. You love to see
Exactly.
it. You
Producers
love to
edition,
see it.
baby.
Yeah, you know it.
So the Texans, unlike the Bears with Justin Fields, unlike the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence, they are going to build around CJ Stroud the best so that they have the best chance to making a Super Bowl.
Mhm,
So they bring in Stefon Diggs.
mhm.
Now, this gives Stefon Diggs the best, the absolute best incentive to where he is going to go ahead and play at his best. Because okay, if he doesn't like Houston, oh well, he can go to a team next year.
He's
But
only got 1 year.
he's only got 1 year, so it doesn't matter in that realm. But the realm that does matter is the money. They're giving him so much money to play this next season that he has no other choice but to play his best. He needs to play the Stefon Diggs that led the league in the receiving a couple years back. He needs to play that Stefon Diggs. So if Stefon Diggs is at his best, is this going to be the best year Stefon Diggs has ever had in his career with CJ Stroud? Do
I
you think so?
Yes, no, because also I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. This team that Stephon Diggs is about to be on is arguably the best team he has ever been on in his career. And yes, this is including the loaded Buffalo teams he's had. This is including the loaded Minnesota teams he's had. He's got he just joined a team that has an offense of CJ Stroud, who's coming to his second year, coming off an AP Rookie of the Year. He's got young wide receivers he now gets to mentor in Tank Dell and Nico Collins. He's got a bona fide tight end next to him and Dalton Schultz. Like it's now second year head coach D'Amico Ryan, who's already shown that hey, I've only been in this league 1 year, but I can win. I can rally behind my guys and I can put forth the best possible like team, the best situation. And it's only 1 year. Let's say Stephon Diggs has the best year of his career. He's earned himself a bag and a half that he was not going to earn in Buffalo. So yeah,
Oh,
this is
oh,
this is such a win for the Texans.
I agree. I want to say like CJ Stroud has been phenomenal. He led
Yes.
the league in like TD to interception ratio or some yards to touchdown some ratio, a couple ratios. He led the league
Sub
in his first
ratio.
year.
Sub
I can't
ratio.
remember the exact numbers. If I had it in front
He's
of me, I'd
good. And
he's good.
if you don't think CJ Stroud is good, look at what's on his trophy case right now. The Rookie of the Year trophy, he's legit. Hate to break it to you.
And I want to say too, I'm going to pull this comment up. Don't pull it up yet too. I want to say D'Amico on paper that Texans defense was not supposed to be as good as it was. But because of D'Amico Ryans and because of his aggressiveness, because of his coaching, he has made that on paper Texas team that's a bottom half NFL defense. He
Mm-hmm.
made them a good, I don't know what their ranking was. He made them a top half defense, good enough to go ahead and beat the Cleveland Browns. And you saw how good Joe Flacco was doing, and they were good enough to go ahead and beat the Browns, go and play the Ravens and end up losing. But it's whatever. The Texans did what they could. They exceeded all expectations, like we said before, and this year is only going to be better. I want to pull this comment up. And they still have Bobby Slowick. Oh, the Texans, they might. Okay. I want to pull that up because
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing to say. Where do we rank the Texans in the AFC this next coming season?
I think
Because we have a
top.
stacked AFC North.
We do
We
have.
still have the Chiefs, which the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with what 11 wins
Mm-hmm.
this past season.
I think top 3 to top 5 feels right. Somewhere in that range because Ravens and Chiefs are still phenomenal. The Jets got better, but I don't think I can put the Jets above Houston. Miami's still good. They had an interesting offseason. Miami's still good. Can't put them above Houston. I can for sure put Baltimore above Houston because they had an amazing offseason. Lamar's still great. They brought in Derrick Henry. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. As long as he's in Kansas City, that he's going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. So it's like I want to say top 3. I think that Houston, with the addition of Diggs, is that third best team in the AFC.
I'm saying number 2. I'm saying the Chiefs, the only roster better than the Texans.
So you're saying
And
that? So you're saying Houston's better than Baltimore?
I'm saying Houston's better than Baltimore because, as
Okay.
Jack has pointed out, Baltimore lost a decent
That
bit,
is
and
that
they have lost a decent bit.
that is true. That defense is a little.
Even with Lamar coming off an MVP caliber season, I don't think he should have won MVP. He wasn't even top
Oh,
10 in
here
any quarterback. Like, don't even get me
you
started on
go.
that.
Here you could rant
Don't even get
just
me
about
started.
that for like 20
Don't
minutes.
even, yeah,
No,
don't even get me started on that.
we're not
We
going to get you started on
MVP is a
this.
joke. Associated Press is a joke. They don't vote for the right people. Miles Garrett ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year, who I think should not have won it.
Oh my
This
goodness.
AP is a joke. AP's a joke. Get out of here, AP. Ugh, I hate them. But I
That's
hate
how
them
we feel
strong.
about
I
AP. That's how we
dislike
feel
them.
about AP.
Yeah,
That's how
I
we feel about AP.
dislike Associated Press because their
They go.
voting is a joke. So I don't think Lamar Jackson and I love Dak Prescott. I think he should have won MVP. But the same with Dak. Neither of them have proven themselves that they can lead a team to the Super Bowl.
That is true. I
And and,
mean,
and Lamar's gone out of games needing to poop. You know, he couldn't even squeeze
yeah,
his cheeks together
yeah.
long enough to just be able to stay. I mean, you're running, I get that, but like wait till the offensive drive is over and then go take a deuce. Don't leave in the middle of the drive.
Can't do that.
No,
Come on now.
no.
Come on
So
now.
I'm
Come on
putting
now.
Texans number 2.
I
Realistically,
mean,
I want to put them number 2.
realistically, I also want to put number 2. Reason why I said 3 is something about Baltimore's offense this upcoming season. I at the moment I give the slight edge to.
Well, Baltimore, what they lost a tackle, right? Then they
But they
lost
picked
Morgan
Derrick.
Moses. I think they
I think
lost.
it was Morgan Moses.
Yeah,
But
and so they
they
haven't.
gained Derrick Henry.
Well, they gained Derrick Henry, but they haven't had anybody. Well, I'm looking at this. They got Josh Jones. I don't know how good of a lineman that is, but I mean, it's not gonna. It's not Morgan Moses. Josh Jones isn't Morgan Moses. So it's like you're not filling that gap that you had just created due to this past free agency. And I like Derrick Henry. I like the pickup of Derrick Henry, but it's like when your quarterback is already a running back and you
Yeah.
want to incorporate a running back into your offense, which you have not done before, how is that going to look? And I think personally, it won't be as efficient as as we think it is. I don't see a running back, a good running back coming into Baltimore. You're going to try to incorporate that with Lamar Jackson's running ability, and I just don't think it will mesh.
I think
I don't like it.
I think it could. I
It
think this
could.
it could, but we have to see it first, which is like we have to see CJ do this what he just did again. There's possibility he could regress. We know what Lamar is going to do. We know what Derrick Henry is going to do. We know what that offense is going to do. We've seen what CJ Stroud can do. We saw what this team could do this year. But this team, yes, they are a lot better on paper. They could regress. Joe Mixon's legs could fall off. Like CJ Stroud might just get hit in the face with his welcome to the NFL. Like it's not a cakewalk anymore. AFC South got better. The AFC South is going to only get better through this draft. If we're going based off like experience, give it to Baltimore. If you're going based off potential, give it to Houston. That's
Now
how I look at it.
This is why I put Houston number 2, because you have a stacked AFC North. Now you have Joe Burrow coming back. Whether he gets injured again is a question. He's very
Joey Burrow,
injury prone.
baby.
You have Joe Burrow coming back. You have a Steelers defense that not only got better, their defense was the sole reason that Pittsburgh went to the playoffs this past season. The sole reason. And when you have a better defense than what you had that took you to the playoffs, you're going to be somewhat playoff bound again. So Baltimore has 2, and don't even get me started. We have the Cleveland Browns as well. These are all teams that are capable of making the playoffs. And when the Baltimore Ravens have to play them 6 times a year, it's going to be difficult. Yes, it's going to be difficult.
You're right.
So
I didn't think about it. I did not think about it like that.
Exactly. So Lamar has to play this Cleveland defense. Lamar has to play this Pittsburgh defense that was good enough to take a team that had one of the worst offenses. The worst, Matt Canada was terrible. And then they just got the worst play caller from this past season, Arthur Smith, as their OC. Yep. I don't even know what's going to happen with the Steelers, but their defense is still going to be good. Now, whether their offense is there, I don't know. But we have seen that the Steelers defense is capable enough of taking a team to the playoffs. And Lamar Jackson, having to play them twice in a year, is going to have trouble going up against this Pittsburgh defense.
I want to highlight real quick what Jack said, because Jack does this did play into my thinking of why I trust Baltimore a little more. Steelers are bound to be 9-7. No matter how good the offensive defense is, Steelers bound to be 9-7. And Deshaun Watson, hate that I'm saying that name out loud.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Look, Deshaun Watson's a Clemson boy. He came out with his restaurant just not that long, maybe a couple days ago. He's doing good. The man's doing good, and I'm happy for him, because all those allegations and crap, they're called allegations for a reason. And don't tell this is the producing show today. They're called allegations for a reason. And when those allegations and accusations aren't 100% stamped on, now he did have a lot of women saying, "Hey, he did this to me." I don't want to get too political, but this is the producer show, so if we want to, we can. And he's doing good. He came out and he said, I love this statement. He said the other day, I don't even remember, a couple years ago, last year, whenever it was like in the brink of it, he was suspended. He said, "Look, God knows what I did, and that's the only thing that matters." And when he said that, I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. When he made that statement, that's all I need to know. Because none of these accusations and allegations have gone through, I don't think any less of Deshaun Watson than I did before. And that's my opinion on Deshaun Watson. Now, if one of these things were to go through and he were to do this, now a lot of people do stuff for money. Do you not realize that Deshaun Watson just signed the most guaranteed money in NFL history? A lot of people do crap for money, and we have seen it in the past with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, but look at this. Yeah, he might not necessarily be the greatest person off the field, but looking at his on-field talent, he was not great last year. Joe Flacco came in.
He was injured. He was injured.
Yes, he was.
Can't say much. He was injured.
He needs to be worth the contract in order for this Browns team to be good.
Yeah, I agree.
If Deshaun Watson's not playing, Deshaun Watson has played in his past and his prime, arguably when he's actually good, this Cleveland team's not going anywhere. Doesn't matter how good the defense is.
He hasn't been. He hasn't been thrilling. I'm
It
not
needs to
saying
be better than what we've seen in order for me to really think that there's competition.
And it's really, really hard when you get suspended for 2 seasons because of hearsay and not able to play football. So let's keep that in mind. When you get suspended for what people have said and nothing that has been proven true, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. And I mean, we'll see what Deshaun Watson does. Look, Deshaun Watson is Cleveland's business right now.
It
Whether
is.
you like Deshaun Watson, whether you hate Deshaun
It is.
Watson, Cleveland is
There's
getting clout, whether it is good, bad, or ugly. Cleveland's getting all this clout. He's Cleveland's business right now. So whether you like it or not,
mhm,
Cleveland's making money. So Cleveland's going to go ahead and keep
mhm.
Watson on their roster, keep him as a starting quarterback because they might have been paying him money, but they're also getting money. So let's keep that in mind. If Deshaun Watson plays bad, who else does Cleveland have on their roster? I know they have the UCLA quarterback. What's his face? Dorian
Dorian
Thompson.
Thompson,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Robinson, or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
all right, so I just want to round out this whole thought about the AFC North. The AFC North is 9 times out of 10. This is going to be the most competitive division in the NFL.
The Browns have Tyler Huntley, and I forgot about this. They got Jabbo now. Oh, the Browns are good. The Browns are fine. The Browns are fine. The Browns are fine. I'm
This
telling you, the
division,
Browns are
okay,
fine.
this division is going to be competitive.
Oh, we will.
All 4 of these teams all have the potential to win this division, and I can say that comfortably. All the teams are good. It's going to be how will things play out? How will Joe Burrow be coming off an injury? How will this newfound Steelers offense be with Arthur Smith and Russell Westbrook? I almost said Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson. How will Baltimore's defense be after it's basically got ransacked? The offense is going to be fine in Baltimore. How's that defense going to be? And then looking at Cleveland, is Deshaun Watson going to be him, or is he not?
It doesn't matter. They have the quarterback depth. I think they'll be fine in Cleveland.
There's storylines for each and every team. So and things still happen. Like there's rumors that for Cincinnati, T. Higgins is going to be out of there at some point. There's rumors that T. Higgins is going to be gone. There's rumors that if Russell Wilson's have a good training camp, he gets cut and it's Justin Fields' job. Like there's a whole bunch of rumors in this AFC North. Every team's it's going to be competitive. It's just only time can tell, really.
So I want to kind of, I
That's
want to, I want to go back to our original. We're talking about the Texans and Bills. We've said that the Texans are capable. I mean, realistically, this team is capable of going to a Super Bowl, in my eyes, at least. So
Yes.
I want to talk about the Bills just for a second before we go into a different thing. Before we give everybody our favorite insurance ads, but I want to talk about the Bills for just a second because they have been every time that they've wanted to go to the Super Bowl, they've been stopped by the Chiefs every single time, and it has yet to fail. They did this past season. The Bills lost to the Chiefs. The season before that, Bills lost to the Chiefs. Like all these years, the Bills have just been losing to the Chiefs over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking overtime. They changed the
Every
overtime rules because of that game. The postseason overtime rules. They
mm-hmm.
changed because of that game. So my question
every year there's been Stefon Diggs just standing on the field like this, just watching the Chiefs
just
celebrate.
watching,
For 3 different years.
And now he's ring chasing. So
Yes,
we take the Buffalo Bills, and so now that Stefon Diggs is out of Buffalo, and we can look back at when Buffalo made the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, and guess what? They lost every single one of those years. And so Stefon Diggs is out. So does this close the window for Buffalo to make a Super Bowl, or does this just open it and leave it wide open? Because think about it. You don't have to pay Stefon Diggs his money anymore. You have a little bit of money to spend somewhere else. What do we think?
All right. So the offense is it's sort of sketchy. They still have James Cook running back. That's good. They still have Josh Allen as your QB. He by himself is going to win you games. The wide receiver core right now is Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, and Matt Collins. They have two good tight ends, and Dawson Knox and whatever the rookie's name is,
Dalton Kincaid.
Kincaid. Yeah, they have to have a good sneaky little tight end core. Curtis Samuel is really only wide receiver too. Khalil Shakir showed some flashes of being good last year. Matt Collins is kind of a bum, realistically, but they still have some weapons on this offense. If they draft a receiver, which they desperately need to, and can develop a receiver, the door's cracked. It's gonna take a lot, but the door's cracked open. It's more shut than it is open. The door was open, more wide open with Stefon Diggs there. Because Diggs is out, you gotta shut it a little bit. But you it's cracked. You keep it cracked. You can see a little bit of that light. It's not as much as it was, but anything can happen in the NFL. I hate to say it, but Josh Allen is too good. He can make it work.
I like Josh Allen's ability, but also Josh Allen is a turnover machine. So that's another
Yeah,
thing. He was a turnover machine when he had Stefon Diggs. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm sending Nate the link so he can pop on the
You're
show. I forgot to do that.
you're good. You're good.
Yes. So I don't think it's slam shut. Jack has his opinion. He
Mm-mm.
thinks it's slam shut. There's not. I
Jack is
think
also a Patriots fan, so he's going to respectfully think that they have no chance because
exactly.
he wants to see them fail. I'm an
He
optimistic
does.
man. I'm going to hold some optimism. It's cracked. It's 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 less open than it was, but it's still open.
And I think I mean, Josh Josh Allen Josh Allen's ability to
Whatever.
lead a team to the playoff, he can do it. I mean,
Mhm.
whether or not I don't know what the track record for Josh Allen was before Stefon Diggs came to Buffalo, if they made the playoffs before then. Jack, can you fact check us there so I don't have to look it up? I think Josh Allen's ability to take a team to the playoff is good. I think
Yeah.
Stefon Diggs leaving is a hit to Josh Allen. I think
Mhm.
that was definitely his number one weapon. But you got to think about it like this: you can get a wide receiver
Mhm.
in the draft. But now you have created Dawson Knox is not a bad tight end. Dalton
No.
Kincaid is shown flashes of being a great tight end in the league. Now you could run this 12 personnel and
Yeah.
with your two tight ends, you can run this personnel
Mhm.
to where you might not have as many because when you run a 12 personnel, you don't have as many wide receivers on the field, right? You
No,
have one
but
more
they can.
tight end and one less wide
Yeah.
receiver,
But
usually.
they can at the moment they can still have a Curtis Samuel and a Khalil Shakir on the field, which Shakir gives them a guaranteed deep threat, and Curtis Samuel kind of fills in as this sort of wide receiver one. He's shown flashes of being solid with Washington, but also Curtis Samuel's never had good QB play in his career. With Curtis
Well,
Samuel having a good QB now, I mean,
we could
there
see.
there
Yeah, he had a
there could be something here.
I just
It's not pretty, but there could be something here.
no, and there could. I don't doubt Curtis Samuel's abilities. There's a reason they signed him in free agency because they like Curtis Samuel. But
Mhm.
if you're Buffalo, you have to draft a wide receiver. You have to
Have to.
draft one of these top wide receivers in this first round. If you want to trade up and draft a wide receiver, you can. You have to draft a wide receiver if you're Buffalo. If you don't draft
Like,
a top wide receiver here, I don't. I'm going to say that the door is closed more than it was before.
oh,
Now,
definitely.
Josh Allen is a turnover machine, and that's just because he likes to sling it. He is the modern day Brett Favre. He just likes to sling it. He's the modern day Brett Favre.
Good
He
take.
loves. He just loves to sling it. I mean, I love watching Josh Allen play. He takes risks. Sometimes those risks pays out. Sometimes they don't. But just because of all him throwing all those interceptions, he can still make the playoffs. There is no doubt that he can't make the playoffs. It's just if he can make them without Stefon Diggs. Now you have that NFC East, right? You have the
Mhm.
Jets, Patriots, Bills, and who's the other team? My mind's going blank.
Hold on, just repeat that again.
The NFC East. I know it. Why don't?
The NFC East?
Oh, the NFC East.
Oh,
Oh, the
the
Dolphins. The Dolphins. The
you're
Dolphins. The Dolphins. The Dolphins.
I'm
AFC East.
so
My bad. The Dolphins.
I'm
The
just kind of
Dolphins.
like
Okay.
I'm letting you cook right now. I'm letting you cook.
Yeah. So you have the Dolphins in that. I knew that. I don't know why I didn't know that. But you have the Dolphins in that division. The Dolphins, I think Tua is on the verge of, as good as he was this past year, I think he is on the verge of retirement. I don't know if his
Oh,
brain can keep up with the
bold
Dolphins
take,
anymore.
bold
So
take.
I don't I
I like that actually.
with in this division, I think you have the Jets and the Bills. Now, I'm sorry, Jack. I know you're watching. The Patriots do not have a chance to win this division unless they just pull out some D'Amico Ryan, C.J. Stroud magic that we saw this past season. Unless Jared Mayo
Hmm.
and Drake May can pull something out and become the top there, is whatever. I'm not saying that the Jets are 100% the winners in this division. I think that there is still a chance for the Bills to be atop this division that they have in the past, and the Dolphins still have a chance too. I think the
The
Dolphins,
Jets improved significantly too.
yes,
Right now, arguably, it's now the Jets with Diggs leaving. It's all right at the moment. It's really it's between it's it's the Jets and Dolphins are now like the so-called heavy hitters, but Buffalo's still there. Buffalo can, if they get a little hot streak, if the pieces connect, they can snake their way into the top and they can cause some ruckus, which you'd like to see.
I do want to say, do you know I think Lamar Jackson was 49 of the 50 votes for MVP. Do you know who got that other vote?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. So you cannot count out somebody who is MVP caliber, somebody who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You cannot count that. Hey, Cassie, you cannot count that out. I just I don't want to say that it's over for the Bills because they are in a
Still cracked
division that
open.
they can
Still cracked open.
100% have a possibility of winning this. I don't want to say that now. Whether they make a Super Bowl, I think their chances are slim. I want to say Stefon Diggs was their best chance to
Hmm.
make a Super Bowl. If they end up drafting someone that is just like Stefon Diggs, well, then that puts their chances back to where it was before. But because they're the Buffalo Bills and they
They
have
can.
yet to win a Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs,
Hmm.
I can't say that the Bills are going to win a Super Bowl
They
soon.
but they can do what the Steelers did last year. They could sneak in with a 9-7 record, and as a 7 seed, they could cause some. I'm going to use it again. They could cause some ruckus if things go right and if things go the way they could. If Sean McDermott clears his mind and actually focuses on football and not anything else, if Josh Allen can just limit turnovers just a little bit, if James Cook can rush for over 1,000 yards, if they stick heavy with the 12 personnel and interesting actually, I'm not even gonna. But if they run that 12 personnel and they get Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid like a lot of reps, things could go well. It's going to be more difficult. The defense is going to have to hold its own, but anything can
Realistically,
happen.
though, if the Buffalo Bills aren't in position to win something soon, how long do we see Sean McDermott in Buffalo?
One, maybe 2 seasons max.
I don't see him there long. If he's been there what several years now, and this is his last year. Jack, and I'm assuming he means that this is a make or break year for Sean McDermott. If he doesn't do something now this year, he's out of Buffalo.
He's been in Buffalo he's been in Buffalo since 2017. He has to do something
Oh, he has to. He has to. And the
because
Chiefs is just
because he can go he can go coach somewhere else. Like there's bound to be coaching changes next year. He can go take a low level team and he can rebuild them and hopefully actually do it the right way. So it is make or break, which is it's kind of it. Honestly, it's sort of tough. It's Sean McDermott's it's gonna be tough on him. If when you lose your best target, your number one wide receiver for a second round pick next year, you gotta do something different.